This episode of Hack 5 is brought to you by GoDaddy, Netflix, and Squarespace.
Money Penny, take a memo.
Mr. Wright, once again, my name is Becky.
Right. Whatever. Let's begin. To whom it may concern, I, the fabulous Mr. Wright, recently purchased a bottle of old juice. And about an hour after taking the supplement, I happened to develop a rather humongous, scratch that, a rather large, hold on one second. Dr. Scheissengaber. Yes, I took the ointment. No, it's not working. It just gets bigger and bigger. And my balls.
Hey, I got flower delivery for Becky Stewart.
Oh my god, that's me.
Excellent.
Who are they from?
Secret admirer.
Oh my god, how exciting. Who's that little guy?
Oh, right, I almost forgot. This is the admirer monkey. It goes with the flowers.
Oh, how cute. What's with his hands?
It plugs into your computer's internet, and when you go to the profile page of your secret admirer on like Facebook, he lights up and plays a song for you.
Oh my god.
I'm looking for a sling for my nuts.
Does he work on MySpace?
Yeah, I think so.
Does he work on Bebo?
And nobody uses Bebo.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Insane. I can't walk. I'm walking like a goddamn penguin over here. Okay,
Let's
look,
see.
I will stop yelling at you when you actually prescribe me something that works. Not makes my balls free. Yes. Yes, Dr. Scheissengaber. I'll make sure she finds it. Money Penny, have you seen my ball cream? You know, the one for my extra large balls.
This month's LAN party is Insurgency Modern Infantry Combat. We're playing over at insurgency.hack5.org on March 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern. And if you're not too into the whole insurgency thing, you can go over to hack5lan.squarespace.com and vote for your favorite LAN game. And I have to thank our wonderful sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is a publishing system for anyone looking to build a blog, a portfolio, or any kind of website. They power large businesses to blogs, and Squarespace gives the opportunity to build pages that are just as powerful and flexible as those of the big dogs. And you can go over to squarespace.com right now for a 2-week free trial membership. And you can also use code HACK5, that's HAK5, for 10% off the life of your service.
Interceptor is the network tap that mirrors a wired connection over a rogue wireless access point. While we may have become significantly paranoid about pineapples owning our wireless traffic, too often we take for granted the security of our wired networks. Whether at home, work, or abroad, the prospect of a man-in-the-middle attack poses a significant threat, especially when dealing with unencrypted communications. Hackers and pen testers for years have exploited the nature of the network by becoming the man in the middle, using techniques such as ARP cache poisoning. And network administrators have used sniffing tools like Wireshark in conjunction with network taps to troubleshoot congestion. But these tools and techniques require a level of access and presence that isn't always viable. So what if there were a device that could sit in line on a wired network, passively monitoring the packets? And what if this device came with a rogue wireless access point that an attacker could access, initiate a private tunnel, and tap into that traffic? This device would be small, with the ability to sit behind a network wall plate, or inside a cute plushie with the ability to social engineer secretaries. Or maybe it could attach to the back of a PC with a phony telephone company logo. And all the while, the attacker could connect wirelessly from the convenience of a black van parked outside the corporate office and peer past the firewall without notice. Unobstructive to latency or time to live, with the same wireless security built to keep the black hats out, this little device could stay in stealth mode from 9 to 5, Then, at the drop of a hat, go from passive to active, strolling the network from the inside out. The device I speak of is none other than Robin Wood's Interceptor, and today we'll be building one bad little monkey in the middle. So let's get started. First, we'll need a wireless router with 2 or more Ethernet ports capable of running our favorite embedded OS, OpenWRT. For this, we'll be using the oh-so-hackable Fawn Plus. These little guys were designed and manufactured by Acton and come flashed with custom Fawn firmware. The basic idea is that they let you share your internets with fellow Fineros, and in turn, borrow a couple of packets from other Fineros while on the go. It's a noble idea and a great community, and we're happy to see these little creatures in the wild. But as always, we've got plans for this little router. Using the power of fair use and the ancient art of ninja hacking skills, we'll unlock this little Finera, install Interceptor, stuff it inside a plush monkey, and weaponize the little guy. But first, a quick look under the hood. Fawn Plus runs on a lockdown version of OpenWRT. It requires 7.5 volts of power and runs on a 183 MHz MIPS processor, has 16 megs of RAM, 8 megs of flash, dual 10100 megabit Ethernet ports, and speaks 802.11b and G. He also sports a serial port, which is great for unbricking, an omnidirectional 1.5 dBi antenna, and a standard RP SMA connector for more powerful antennas. Now let's get hacking. First, we'll need a computer, a Virgin Finera, some Ethernet cables, and some special software. We'll be doing this in Linux, however you could do the same in Windows or Mac as long as you have Perl, SSH, SCP, OpenVPN, TFTPD, and TCP/dump or Wireshark. All of the packages and software used in this are available at digininja.org or in the Hack5 wiki. Before we begin, we'll need a copy of OpenWRT 8.09 for Atheros, vmlinux.lzma, and root.squashfs in TFTPD, typically found in /tftpboot. Now, we'll begin by bringing up the Ethernet interface on our PC as 192.168.1.254. Connect an Ethernet cable between the PC and Fawn Plus's LAN port and run redboot.pl 192.168.1.1. Once we're connected to Redboot via Telnet, we'll want to flash the firmware, so issue fis init. Then load the kernel from TFTP with load tac-r tac-b %freememlo OpenWRT Atheros vmlinux.lzma and write the image with fiscreate tac-e 0x800 41000 tac-r 0x800 41000 vmlinux.bin.l7. This takes a while, so why not take a break and have a banana? They're good for you. Next, we'll load the file system from TFTP with load tac-r tac-b %freememlo OpenWRT tac-atheros tac-root.squashfs and write the image with fiscreate tac-l 0x6f0000 rootfs. This part takes a long while. Consider a banana smoothie. In a blender, mix bananas, ice, milk, and your favorite yogurt. Alright, once our file system is written, we'll need to configure Redboot. Issue fconfig and answer true to the first question. Then enter the following boot script. fisload tac-l vmlinux.bin.l7 exec. We'll want a 2-second boot script timeout, no boot peg network configuration, no gateway IP address, a local IP of 192.168.1.1, a network mask of 255.255.255.0, the default server IP set to 192.168.1.254, a console baud rate of 9600, and the GDP port at 9000. Tell Redboot not to force console for special debug messages, not to debug network at boot, and finally go ahead and update the non-volatile configuration. Issue reset and the connection will close. From our PC, we'll go ahead and ping 192.168.1.1. We should receive replies shortly. Telnet to 192.168.1.1 and we'll be greeted by OpenWRT Kamikaze's shell. Issue passwd and type monkey business twice. Now exit. From our PC, we'll go ahead and SSH over to root at 192.168.1.1. After accepting the certificate, we'll once again be greeted by OpenWRT's shell. Now we'll open another terminal on our PC and navigate to the directory containing Interceptor's required packages. We'll be SCPing these files over to the Fawn Plus in /tmp, but you could also pull these packages from a local HTTP server using wget. SCP star.ipk to 192.168.1.1 /tmp. Now, back over on the Fawn Plus, we'll use opkg to install all of the packages in /tmp. Finish off your banana smoothie while kmodton, libLZO, libOpenSSL, zlib, OpenVPN, libpcap, and libdnet are installed and configured. You may also want to include the nano packages and any other goodies like nmap. Next, we'll edit the wireless configuration. The important part here is to set disabled to 0, give the Wi-Fi interface an SSID, and set it to use WPA PSK2. We'll also want to edit the network interface. Here we set the LAN to static bridge with an IP of 192.168.1.1 and an interface name of eth0.0. The WAN will be called eth0.1. Now remove all entries from etc/rc.d pertaining to HTTPD or DNS mask. Back on our PC, we'll want to grab the latest version of Interceptor from digininja.org. Unpack the tar and SCP the Interceptor MIPS package to the Fawn Plus in /tmp. Switch back to the Fawn Plus and install Interceptor with opkg. Now we can start Interceptor by issuing /etc/init.d/interceptor start. From our PC, we'll need to create OpenVPN keys. If you're not familiar with OpenVPN and key generation, you can find more details on our forums. We start by copying the EasyRSA files to our working directory and editing vars. Tweak the sample configuration and we'll be all set to build the keys. Issue vars, clean all, and build CA. Next issue build key server, then build key client1, and build.dh. At this point you should have a bunch of pem, cert, and key files. We'll need to SCP client1.cert, client1.key, and ca.cert to 192.168.1.1 in /interceptor/openvpn/client. Now, create a directory called certs where your Interceptor startup script is located and copy dh1024.pem, server.cert, server.key, and ca.cert there. Finally, we're ready to test Interceptor. Plug the WAN port of our Finera into the switch and the LAN port into a spare computer. Set it to run a constant ping or any other sort of traffic. This is the target that we'll be eavesdropping on shortly. Now, back to our PC, we'll need to connect to the Fawn over wireless, so let's create a WPA supplicant config file with Interceptor as our SSID and monkey business as our password. Once that's complete, issue WPA supplicant tac dwext on tac I ath0 tac c my configuration file. Now that we're associated, we need to manually set our IP address to 10.255.255.253. Ping 10.255.255.254 to ensure that Interceptor is running, and then run the startup script. The OpenVPN connection should initialize, and you'll be asked for the root password when Interceptor is ready to start daemon logger. Now, in a new terminal, run ifconfig and verify that tap0 is up. Tell tcpdump to listen to tap0 or fire up Wireshark. You should now see all of the traffic between your target computer and the switch. That's it. You're ready to toss it in a monkey, weaponized little primate, and start pirating some packets. Monkeys see on LAN, monkeys say on wireless. And when you're done with your passive attack, go ahead and scan the network, assign an IP address, and start hacking from the inside out. Or send your monkey over to the Hack5 forums for more information about Fawn Plus mods, Interceptor extensions, or other platforms that Interceptor supports.
This week's trivia question is, what two monkeys had the pleasure of being shot into space atop an AIM-18 missile in 1959? Submit your answer to hack5.org/trivia and enter to win this week's giveaway. And I have to thank our sponsor, GoDaddy. Think you're smarter than the rest? Prove it and you could win big. If Smartspace from GoDaddy.com has changed the way you use the internet, the way you blog, the way you do business, the way you live your life, create a blog or video story that shows how. You might just win $25,000 in cash prizes and free Smartspace for life. So head over to GoDaddy.com/sscontest and enter now. Don't have Smartspace? See what it's all about and save an additional 15% off through April 15th, 2009. Make sure you use code SPACE15.
So today we have the pleasure of having our friend Robin Wood on. Robin, last time we saw you, it was at an aircraft carrier and we're talking about Yazaga. What's been up since?
It's been good. We've been schmook-on, and I've been playing with a lot of fonts.
Yeah, that's your forte, it seems. This particular hack that we're talking about today, Interceptor, is based on a Fawn Plus. I was hoping maybe you could explain to us some of the features of Interceptor and kind of how it came to be.
Right, well, the Interceptor, as far as I can remember, came about from the last talk on, where we had over Fawn Plus 2 wired network cards and a wireless, and we said, well, wouldn't it be a good idea to use that as a network tap? So since then, been doing a lot of playing with it, and what I've come up with is a wireless wired network tap. The idea is, get the phone, you can drop it in line on any bit of network, all the data that's going across the 2 wired NICs gets spat out through the wireless and can then be sniffed on some other laptop or desktop somewhere else.
Yeah, I think the idea of having that rogue access point that's just sitting in line is absolutely beautiful. Maybe you could tell me some of the software that's involved, the packages that actually make it all come together.
Well, initially the idea was just to use IP tables and clone all the traffic that was going across the bridge on the phone. Obviously we're installing OpenWrt on it, not using the standard firmware. I had a lot of playing with IP tables, couldn't get anything working, so I started looking around for some alternatives, asked a lot of people, and the best thing we could come up with was a package called Daemon Logger, which is from Marty Roche, I think his surname is, the guy who does Snort. And what that does is you point at an interface and you say clone all the traffic on this. So we started off just cloning all the traffic off the bridge onto ATH0 and trying to send it out onto the airways. A lot of problems with that, couldn't get it working. Again, lots of asking round, and with some help from Marty and another guy on the Snort mailing list, Peter Klassman, I think his name was, we finally came up with the idea of tunneling the data over a VPN. If you want to know why all this is needed, I'm going to put it all on the website, but for now, unless anybody can come up with some better way of doing it, this is the best that I can come up with, and I have asked a lot of other people. So basically, traffic goes across the wired interface, it's cloned onto a OpenVPN interface, sent through that across the wireless, an OpenVPN server on the other end listens to that, and puts it out onto an interface that you can then watch with TCP dump or Wireshark.
Now, tell me a little bit about the hardware. Of course, your forte, hacking some Fawns. We're doing the Fawn Plus. It's a beautiful piece of hardware because it'll run OpenWRT. We got that nice Atheros chipset. But is that all necessary? Is this something that you could actually put together on another piece of hardware?
Well, unlike Yazaga, there are no patches to any of the drivers or anything like that. So theoretically, this should work on any device with at least 2 wired interfaces and a wireless that will run OpenWRT. I haven't got anything else tried on at the moment, but it's all just standard package, so I can't see why it wouldn't work.
So Robin, since we have 200 megabit Ethernet and a 54 megabit wireless, what's going to happen there when there's a lot of traffic?
Something we haven't fully tested yet, but certainly there will be limitations on this. Obviously, up to 100 meg traffic across the wired, a maximum of 54 out of the wireless. You've then got to put on top of that the OpenVPN, which is going to slow things down a bit. I've got to do some testing yet. We're not sure whether it's just going to drop packets or whether everything's going to get backlogged and things are going to start dying on the phone. Obviously the phone's not got much memory, so it's only going to be able to cache a certain amount of data. I'm hoping what will happen is that the phone will just start dropping packets when it can't keep up, and that it won't start delaying the traffic across the bridge.
Right.
So if it does that, then it is going to start getting noticeable by users.
Yeah, I think initially this is a good thing to put in place in between your target and the switch, and not necessarily in between the switch and the router. You might also find it more easily, depending on your network closet or data center or whatnot. So I got to ask, where's the website? Where can we get the code, play with it, install it on our own stuff, and discuss it?
All the code and everything's going to be going up on digininja.org/interceptor. And if you want to get hold of me, dninja@gmail.com.
Great, and we've set up the Interceptor forums. They're right there next to the Yazaga forums, and invite you guys to come out and share your experiences playing with the code and kind of come up with some ideas for some new features. Because keep in mind, say like you put this in place on your target and their office is only open from 9 to 5. Afterwards, you can log in and, well, you're on the network, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Fawn 2.0 beta, any ideas for that? We've got a hold of the hardware. It's just like the Fawn Plus, but we have a USB port.
Yeah, I'd like to try and get a portable video conferencing device working. So USB hub, put a video out, a sound out, or a USB headset, and a webcam, so you can drop it anywhere. You've got instant video conferencing. Other ideas, just a storage device that you can put on the network, just turn up, plug it in. You've got the wireless and the wired, so you can plug a big hard drive into it. And any other ideas that the viewers can come up with. We're open to ideas. If you can suggest something good to do with 2 wired, a wireless, and a USB port, let us know. Definitely, yeah. I mean, some things that come to mind, RFID, Bluetooth, stuff like that. So we want to hear your suggestions. So, hit up DigiNinja, hit up feedback, and let us know. Robin, thanks so much for coming on. We got to have you on again in the future because we need to talk about Ear Trumpet and all those other fun tools that you've got going on over there. Yeah, definitely. Whenever. Give us a shout. All right. Thanks so much for coming on. Take care. Okay. Thanks.
I'd like to take a moment to thank one of our wonderful sponsors that keeps us on the air, Netflix. With Netflix, you can rent over 90,000 titles online, including lots of Blu-ray, with free shipping, both ways to your home and back. They now have over 40 shipping centers, so almost all deliveries happen in just one business day. Netflix plans start at $4.99, and as a new member, you can get a no-risk 2-week free trial membership. Check it out at www.netflix.com/high5, and please don't forget the www.